Okay, so part two. I'm in a house that has radios in it for emergency calls, and I didn't want to have any breach of classified information. So that was the break. So, anyway, how am I today? 8 years after I jumped off a milligram of Xanax and discontinued multiple other meds and was hospitalized and put on more meds and had to come off those. And I haven't been on any routine meds since January 1st, 2018. And I'm doing pretty good. I mean, I couldn't drive for almost 3 years because of visual disturbances and irrational thought patterns and reactivity to my environment and not being able to tolerate bright lights and not being able to stay focused and my muscles not working right. So, I didn't drive for 3 years. And so far, just since I got my new vehicle, which I got in June, I've drove about 3,500 miles. And I even drove in LA County, which I don't want to do again. I am no longer reactionary. I'm quite relaxed. I have very little abnormal anxiety. Of course, sure, everybody gets some anxiety going to a new place, meeting a new person, starting a new job, getting in a plane. There are moments that I feel that tightness and tension in my chest or in my belly, but it's nothing like the anxiety that I've experienced before, having full on panic attacks and then the horrors of anxiety associated with coming off medications. Rather than telling you all the symptoms I don't have anymore, and I'm going to update my list and I'll eventually share that of all, the hundreds some symptoms I had and where we are today. But I have neuropathy, burning severe neuropathy. It's constant, it's chronic, it's in my feet, it's in my hands. I get hot super, super easy. That's part of the reason that I travel, is to follow 70-degree weather, because I just overheat super easy because of the inflammatory neurological heat that's occurring in my system still. I do still have focus issues. If there are more than two, maybe three people talking at a table, I can't track. It's too much. It's an overload. I still struggle watching anything on television for any length of time, but I've never been a TV person, so that's not a big deal. Let's see. I still sometimes have some visual things, but I don't know if that's from aging too. Some floaters, and I haven't had my eyes checked for over a year. So, what else is really, I'm doing pretty well, really. I mean, I have pain issues. That's my biggest thing. I have pain issues. I still fatigue easily. I still struggle with focus. I still struggle reading. Reading is a challenge. Taking in new information. I also have trouble tracking. I used to, be able to add up numbers. You'd throw numbers and I could add them up, or, do simple equations or what in my head. And now I have to write things down, trying to, studying genealogy. I need a picture map. I need to write it out. I can't just hear it and go, oh yeah, 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 yeah. My brain doesn't work that way anymore, which it used to fabulously. So there's been a lot of acceptance of some lack of intellectual skills, so to speak. I haven't lost intelligence, I don't think. Actually, I think I've become more intelligent about a lot of things and more grounded in truth and reality than I was for many, many years. But, oh gosh, I just lost track. So that's another thing. Train goes off the choo-choo track. But again, there's a lot of other things that could influence that. So I don't blame anything that still could be considered a symptom. I don't blame anything 100% on benzodiazepines or any pharmaceutical, because there's been a lot. There was a lot of pharmaceuticals that were ingested over a period of 30 odd years, prescribed by my doctors. But there's been a lot of other things too. I mean, I have complex PTSD, and that alters the brain. It is not just a psychiatric reaction. It is an actual alteration of the brain. That's what PTSD is. I've had injuries. I've had other illnesses. I've had COVID. So some of this could be COVID long haulers, which I did have back in 2020. So, while I still can't do everything that I'd like to, I can't hike like I used to. My feet hurt too bad. Being a voracious reader and being able to take in and assimilate all that information and put it to some use and learn new things all the time, it takes me longer. It takes me a lot longer. So I've had to, my biggest thing has been radical acceptance. And that applies to pretty much everything in my life. I've had a lot of things that I've shared on here, the loss of my son, the finding out about my DNA, and now here I am meeting some of my family from my mother's side. So, but radical acceptance has been really beneficial in me being able to continue on with the challenges that I still face. And it also helped in my healing, I feel. I've shared before, I am very grateful for learning and practicing meditation. It's not a quick fix. In fact, none of this. There is no quick fix for the associated syndrome with coming off numerous pharmaceuticals and or benzodiazepines or whatever. Sorry. There's a hummingbird out there. And I have a friend over here watching for his parents who should be coming home in a minute. So I'm going to wrap it up. But I guess if you're finding this, go back and look at the very beginning. I was a wreck. I was sick. I was really, really sick. I was scared. My body wasn't working. My brain wasn't working, and nobody was listening. And I felt very alone, and I was very alone, and I was unhoused, and I had no stability and no security. And here I am traveling the United States, meeting new people, experiencing new cultures, experiencing new ways of looking at things. And that also has been pretty instrumental in my healing, is being open to looking at things differently than I ever have before. So if you found this, go back, look how it used to be, and look at how I am today, because you too can feel a lot better. It's just going to take time and putting things into practice that will help your mind not latch on to the fear that we get from other people that are telling us horrible stories. I listened for a long time, and then I finally decided I didn't need to hear any more about other people's stuff. I just needed to focus on my own, and that I was going to focus on what was working and what was helping instead of focusing on what felt bad. And I think that also has been very beneficial, of changing the way I look at things instead of daily regurgitating and lamenting about the same thing over and over. I chose to focus on today I was able to do this. Today this felt a little better. Today I was grateful for this. And that alters your brain as well. So take control of your brain. Don't let that amygdala and outside stuff keep you stuck in fear, because that will keep you stuck and sick. From my experience and what I've witnessed over the last 8 years, that is a huge stumbling block for many, that they just stay only focusing on what they don't like and what isn't working and what feels bad. And I did that for years, and it self-perpetuated itself to where I was almost non-functioning. Choosing to change the way I view things and think about things and what I focus on has truly helped just as much as my therapy or the foods that I've eaten or the things that I've done otherwise. So that's it. I'm sorry it's late, but I just did not have the energy on July 11th because I was taking care of somebody that I hadn't planned in advance for, and somebody asked and I jumped and said yes, and I learned that I won't be doing that again. But thank you for watching. I will continue to update at least until I hit 10 years off. So I will probably do another video around the 1st of January, which will mark this year 9 years off everything. All right, I hope you're well. Be kind to yourself. Treat yourself, cheer yourself on like you would your very best friend. Okay? All right. Love ya.